Hi chaps, Simo P here from Beard, Biceps and Batchat. Today we are looking at World of Tanks July overview. Now not only do we have Game of Thrones coming back this month, but we've got quite a few things going on from Wargaming. I'm not quite sure if I'm more excited about this or Game of Thrones. No, it's Game of Thrones. It wins every time. So this month's a big focus on, obviously being July, we have Independence Day, which is the 4th of July for our American friends. And we also have, I hope I'm calling it right, Canada Day as well, which is celebrating the 150th anniversary of Canada as a country. I hope that's right. If it's not, tell me in the comment section below so I don't make a mistake and end up looking like an idiot. For Independence Day, the 4th of July, Wargaming are doing ×4 EXP on first victories. So any tanks you're grinding out that are particularly painful, make sure you are grinding them on the 4th of July. We've also, for Canada Day, got the Frostbite Grizzly M4 Sherman. Essentially, this is the Tier 5 M4 Sherman. There's obviously a couple of variations. It's okay. I'll go over it in more detail once it's fully released. It's got preferential matchmaking, which is quite nice, but I know some people, even at the lowest bundle, 2,500 gold for a Tier 5. I said it's a little bit too much, even though I understand it's got a unique camo, which is 800 gold, preferential matchmaking. The normal cost for Tier 5 premiums are usually about 1,500 gold, so some people are saying this is a little bit steep. The camo on the tanks looks pretty, but it's a good looking tank. So it will be interesting to see how the stats look for it. I imagine it's like the rest of the M4s, which is essentially a mobile flanker, except for the Jumbo, which is just big and nasty. Wargaming have also partnered up with, I suppose it's the Chris Nolan's Dunkirk film, which should be coming out in July as well. Now they're going to be running another earn-up. Normally it's Tier 8 tanks. In this case it's Tier 3 premiums. Now the earn-up itself, the only information we've really got on it is that it's going to be EXP based rather than skill based. They've moved away from that after everything that happened with the Fatherland op, so that's good. It's good to see they're sort of learning from what the player base want to see, just what's coming out, and just moving away from RNG, so it's just based on skill and that you have more of an impact on whether you win the op or not. Now the tanks they're doing is obviously T5 for the Germans, the French Pack 40 and the UK Sexton 1. Now the Sexton 1 and the UK one isn't as good as the US one, so if you've been waiting for a Sexton 1 to be released again, this is not the same, but it's still a fun little tank, so there should be a fun little op. Some decent crew trainers, good tanks just to sort of mess around in, so it'll be very interesting to see the full details for the earn up and how many points you need to do. I imagine it'll be the 5-3-1 system that they've employed previously. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out when we get a bit more information. Now they're also releasing 2 more premium vehicles related to Dunkirk. And that is firstly the Defiance Matilda, which is a Tier 5 tank, and the Vindicator Charioteer, which is a Tier 8 TD. These are fairly similar, I imagine, to what's in the tech tree already, but we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully they move away from what they did with the Centurion Huntsman. It's not just a case of a new skin and a worse version of the tech tree variant. I'm going to cross my fingers and toes and hope again that they've learnt from that, and there's something a little bit special about these tanks rather than just a new paint job. But it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it and how these tanks look. Now again, we got ranked battles weekend on the 28th and 30th of July. That's pretty much the main sort of headlines that we've got coming for July. Now for Independence Day and obviously Dunkirk, they are releasing a load of theme bundles, US ones, UK ones, French ones, and some really interesting stuff in there. Now the one thing that really sort of drew my attention with the bundles is all the way down at the, because a lot of these bundles are quite good. There's a lot of interesting tanks being re-released for them. I know some people want to get their hands on the Zika if they're going up the check line. The Cromwell Knights coming out again. The bundles look fairly well themed. The main problem I have with the bundles is with the very basic Freedom tank bundle. Now, the Freedom tank, essentially, this was released a little while ago for just over 7,000 gold. It's now, well, this was last year. Now it's being priced at 9,800 gold. So it's a massive increase on what they've already previously sold it for. A lot of other people have picked up on this as well and are wondering why they've done it. Do they think people won't? Do Wargaming think people won't notice? I've seen a response on forums that the difference is in the paint job. Well, it had the same paint job last year. It had everything exactly the same. So why is it suddenly costing more gold for this tank than when they sold it initially? One of the reasons I've seen on the forums from Wargaming is that November 2016, some premium tanks got, I suppose, worth more. Now, if you already own the tank, it doesn't mean anything to you. You're not suddenly going to get an extra 1,500, 2,000 gold put into your account. But suddenly, these tanks are more expensive when you go to buy them again, or if you've never purchased them before. So I'm a little bit dubious about that, and it makes me wonder what the motivation behind it. Obviously, it's a good opportunity to sell the Freedom, but it looks like they've potentially got a little bit greedy here, similar to the pricing of the Grizzly, that they know if people want this tank, you know, it's an American themed tank, 4th of July coming up, they might pay that little bit extra for it. So again, let me know your thoughts on it. It'll be, you know, interesting to hear. Do you think the same? Have I missed something here, or, you know, is this just Wargaming potentially being a little bit naughty with it? It'll be interesting to see. Again, as I mentioned before, we've got the Grizzly, which I feel is overpriced probably by about 1,000 to 500 gold. The Freedom, which I've just been speaking about, again, feels a little bit overpriced. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with the Vindicator and the Matilda Premium that they're bringing out. Will they give it an inflated gold cost compared to what it would have been, I suppose, a little while ago? What has been the reason for the sort of change in direction of charging more gold for these tanks? So it's getting to the point, well, especially for myself, where you're sort of considering, do I spend this money on the tank, or do I buy another game? So it's sort of difficult to justify the increases. Unless you're a tank collector, then potentially, you know, if it's a tank you really want, you're going to pay for it. That's not a problem. But I'll just be really interested to hear your thoughts on it. Have you guys seen a trend? Are you seeing the same sort of pattern I am? You know, is this going to carry on, or is this an experiment by Wargaming to see, will people pay a higher price for these premiums? Will they make more money even if they're selling less of these tanks? Or will they potentially look to revert to selling the tanks cheaper so more people can buy them? You know, is this a data collection, if you will, from Wargaming? As I said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, guys. Let me know what you're looking forward to in the Independence event and what we've got coming in July. I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you like the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll